What's good, everybody? I'm BPC and welcome to Competitive Origins MMA. If you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell so you can be notified when these videos go live. And hit the like button on this video, please. Now, today's topic is on why did Bellator MMA sign Anthony Rumble Johnson? And I'll talk more about that in just a moment. But first, I want to point out that I'm wearing a Competitive Origins Just an Obstacle t-shirt, which you can get at competitiveorigins.com. Now, if you type in promo code MMA23, you'll get 10% off your order, and a portion of the proceeds will go towards the channel so we can provide a better experience for you guys at home. You've been competing since conception, whether you're competing against yourself or others. Competitive Origins. So Anthony Rumble Johnson is 36 years old. He has a 22-6 record, and he's about 12-2 over his last 14 fights. Now, 2 of those losses did come against Daniel Cormier, who happens to be his kryptonite. But luckily, Daniel's retired, so he has absolutely nothing to worry about. Well, Rumble Johnson entered into the USADA pool. So one would start to question, all right, is Anthony Johnson coming back to the UFC? Well, Anthony, had his manager Ali, who's the superstar agent who happens to be the manager for Khabib, Nurmagomedov, Justin Gaethje, just tons of fighters, tons of champions. And basically he negotiated a deal with Scott Coker, who was able to say, you know what? I want to bring, Anthony Rumble Johnson to Bellator MMA. And the president did that. So you're looking, well, why did they bring Anthony Rumble Johnson? Because they previously had rejected Yoel Romero. And you're thinking, they rejected him. They said they had a full roster. They were heading into a different direction, and they really liked where they were going. Now, when they said they were heading into a different direction, that was more or less saying that they didn't want the UFC's leftovers, the older fighters that basically couldn't cut it anymore. They didn't want to just basically bring them in anymore. And here they about-faced, they took an older UFC star that hadn't even been competing in the past couple of years and brought him onto the organization. So I had to really think about this. Why would they bring, a fighter of his caliber back? If anything, you think they would have brought in Yoel, because Yoel's been the one who's been consistently fighting all these years, while Rumble basically gave up on MMA and chose to do something else. So, somebody who's not mentally 100% about MMA doesn't seem like the optimal individual to bring into your organization if, he might lose a fight and then just say, you know what, guys, I'm out, peace, But this is the decision they decided to go along with, and, it is what it is, but it's great for us fans because we get to see Rumble back in the octagon, if you would say. Octagon's more reserved for, the UFC, but you know what I mean. So when you think about it, though, and you look at Bellator's roster, it's a much, I would say, if you had to put it on difficulty levels, it's not on high like the UFC's. The UFC has absolute killers at 205, and they're a lot younger, and it would make Rumble Johnson's job a lot harder. So maybe that was probably the direction he wanted to go in. I can go into Bellator, I can face off against some of these guys that aren't as big as the ones in UFC. UFC has guys that are 6'2", 6'4", these massive guys that should probably be heavyweights that are fighting down at light heavyweight. And, Bellator has, I think 6 feet, I think, is their champion currently at light heavyweight. So it'll make it a little bit easier for Anthony Rumble Johnson. Now, Ryan Bader was the light heavyweight champion, and he is the current heavyweight champion at Bellator. Rumble beat Ryan Bader. So therefore, if he was the light heavyweight champion, maybe Rumble feels that he could be the light heavyweight champion. Now, Phil Davis is a potential challenger, but he has a victory over Phil Davis. So that might be a little bit positive, and Phil Davis has done pretty well at Bellator. So now you're thinking, all right, well, he has that, but why would they really bring him in, though? Maybe he's washed up. And when you break down fighters, the last thing to go on a fighter, as they say in boxing or MMA or any sport, is their power. So power is the last thing to leave a fighter, and Anthony Rumble Johnson was known for his power. He was an absolute KO machine. Now, what was really surprising is when he actually connected with Daniel Cormier, he couldn't put him to sleep. You know, I guess Daniel just has one of those great chins. He did drop him, but he couldn't put him to sleep. But I have no doubt in my mind that he's going to be able to land one of these knockout blows against these Bellator fighters and get the knockout. Now, moving from there, you got to think, all right, well, you know, if he doesn't get the belt at 205, you know, there's always the opportunity that he can go up to heavyweight. And at heavyweight, it's Ryan Bader, and I don't think he fears Ryan Bader. He already has the victory, so therefore mentally, he's telling himself, I can go in there, I can become heavyweight champion. So it's like he has two paths that he can follow. If one works out, then, you know, he'll stick with that, or maybe if that one works out, he'll then bounce over to this one, you know, but either way, he feels he has the opportunity to win 2 titles, something he wasn't able to accomplish in the UFC, and I think that really, you know, got him hyped up about the idea of going to fight for Bellator MMA. Now, maybe there's a bigger plan in this for him. You know, maybe he's thinking, hey, you know, if I were to do really well over here, you know, before I retire, I can then bounce back over to UFC, get a massive payday since they got more money, or they like to spend more money on their fighters, you know, on the right fighter, I should say, and collect a big payday before I retire. You know, these could all be part of the plans, but coming from Bellator's standpoint, they realize he still has the power. He's still going to be able to come in there, and they saw his physique. It's not like he stayed away from the gym as far as working out goes. He basically got into bodybuilder mode and got into absolutely a massive, gigantic rock, if you could say. And he's basically cutting down so he could be able to make 205 now. So it'll be interesting to see. I think they feel he's going to be able to move the needle for them. And that's what they're looking for. You look at who they have at light heavyweight, you know, it's not really like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to see him. Ryan Bader, you know, he was, you know, I'm not going to say he was a name. He is a name. You know, he got more of his notoriety, I guess, from the UFC and then fulfilled his legacy over in Bellator. But, you know, a lot of people will see, you know, UFC as this, you know, organization and Bellator is down here, you know, so maybe Rumble Johnson is like, you know, a big fish going into a small pond to go ahead and, you know, just eat and eat and eat. And Bellator sees this. We landed ourselves a big fish. We're going to bring him in. We're going to turn him into a superstar. He's 36 years old. Power is the last thing to go, so maybe we can hold on to him for quite a bit of time. Now, they've had really great results with some of these Asian fighters that have been able to pull off victories well into their, I think, well into their 40s. So it'd be interesting if they think that they're going to be able to pull this off, you know, and go from there. Now, if you stay tuned to my next video that I'm going to make, it is on Yoel Romero, and things have changed between him and Bellator, which means things between him and, Anthony Johnson might get heated up just a little bit. But I'll talk more about that in the next video. Make sure you guys tune in for that. Go into the comment section below and let me know why you think Bellator MMA about faced and decided to go after the older, you know, former UFC fighters. I'm BPC. Thank you guys for tuning in. And don't forget to go to Competitive Origins MMA. Type in promo code MMA23 so you can get 10% off your order. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.